Our season 1 tier list. I have some hot takes. Like, the YouTube comments are gonna go crazy. And by that, I mean they're gonna call me a moron. BP got a little hurt by his nerf with the Spirit Rend. That's the kick. And did he get, like, less shielding, too? I feel like Black Panther's still very strong, though. I feel like if you're good enough on this character, you can just solo the backline. I will say triple support meta right now is rough for him. The immortality is rough because you have to put your body on the line, and if they support ult, you're just dead. So that is kind of pulling him back a little bit. I think he's still rather good, though. One of the better DPS in the games. I think he's probably going to be like mid-bottom, mid-lower of A tier here. Hawkeye. Dude, I think Hawkeye might be one of the most overrated characters in the game. I think his perceived value is way higher than he actually is, because you get one shot and that's when you notice Hawkeye, right? And Hawkeye can absolutely carry a game on certain maps, for sure, and he does way too much damage to tanks still. He does just a ton of damage with his headshot. He got like a range, like what was it, the I forget what the ability is called, focused something or whatever, got nerfed. I feel like he was a little overrated season 1, and he's fallen off a little bit more since they've tuned down his damage, tuned down his ranged damage, but I still think he's pretty good. Where do we put Hawkeye, guys? Probably like A tier, like low A tier. Hela, where am I gonna put Hela? I think Hela's still quite strong. The HP nerf is definitely big. Like, it's way easier to win your 1v1s with Hela, win your duels with Hela, but she can still stun you. She can still, like, just delete anybody she wants to. She still has the most consistent damage in the game. I think Hela's still very strong. If anything, she may have slid down to like the top of A tier, but still very strong. I think I had her in S tier last season. I think she's gonna be in top of A. Okay, Iron Man hot take. Everybody, I've seen a couple of tier lists and everybody's putting Iron Man up here. Okay, hot take. I think Iron Man is here. Let me explain. Gamma Beam is strong. It's crazy. It does 180 damage per second. It's actually absurd. But the rest of Iron Man's kit, everything about Iron Man other than his ultimate, sucks. You know what? I just considered his ultimate. I'm going to put him at like mid PP, I think. Mid PP for Iron Man. His ultimate's really good. But the rest of his kit just sucks balls. And people thought, oh, you're playing Hulk so that you can get the gamma boost damage on Iron Man. I think it's the other way around. I think you play Hulk because Hulk and Strange are the best 2 tanks in the game, and Iron Man was just nice to have on that. He's insane with the team up mostly. Yeah, he isn't. It's a strong ability. I'm not denying that. And his ultimate being able to damage through support ult is super strong. Can't be understated how powerful that is, especially in triple support meta where you're running 2 and sometimes 3 defensive ults like that. But he just doesn't win fights without his ultimate or without his gamma beam. And I think even with his gamma beam, it's kind of map dependent. Like, I don't think it works on all the maps as well as you want it to. It's good pretty much everywhere, but it's not as oppressive on like Yggdrasil on the like point pushing map where it's like more open spaces. You kind of need a map with like a tight choke point, like the Hydra map where the control point where it moves from like side to side. Like, that's a good Iron Man map where he can hold like the choke. He's got a lot of vertical cover, but I think he's kind of map dependent even with the gamma beam. And I think a lot of the times you'd be better off running Hulk Strange still, but just playing a different DPS. And I've noticed that a lot is like we'll be playing Hulk Strange and we just won't have an Iron Man, but it'll be totally fine. Even if they have an Iron Man. Like, I really don't think Iron Man was the reason you were playing Hulk Strange last season. I think the reason was Hulk Strange are just the best 2 tanks in the game. Iron Fist. Iron Fist kind of has the same problem that Black Panther has, but I think he's worse. He doesn't do the same burst damage that Black Panther does, really. He has to put his body on the line, so he kind of eats it to support ults. He's got really, really strong mobility. Like, his mobility is so good with the triple jumps, the dash on primary, like the little mini dash he has with primary, and the wall climbing and stuff like that. But I think Iron Fist is struggling at the moment. I think I'm put him in the piss tier. Yeah, I feel like beginning of season 0, we didn't know what any of his abilities did, so we all shot his defensive stance, and then he got a bunch of bonus health, and then you were playing like Widow in the back to see if she was good, and then you get soloed by this goober over here, and then everybody was like, he's S tier, and then like 2 weeks later we actually read the freaking abilities and figured out how to play against him, and it was like, oh, this guy's actually kind of poo-poo. I wish the shift could be used to engage, but it's used to disengage due to how oppressive damage is. Yeah, I mean, you can't really all in with Iron Fist, because they'll get Cloak and Dagger ultimate in like 10 seconds, and then you're just boned. Moon Knight's good this season. I've been so annoyed by the Onks. Please shoot the Onks. People still are not shooting deployables in this game. Please shoot the deployables. Oh my god, they're so annoying. I think he kind of struggles a little bit because his escape tool with like his hook is so slow and his glide is pretty useless. But he does put out pretty good damage, and his ultimate I think is really what's gonna keep him up here. I think he's probably better than Iron Man. In his like mid fight, his ultimate's a little less consistent at killing through support ults, but if you have Groot and you use Groot and then Moon Knight ult, it actually slaps. And the Moon Knight ult got a huge buff, and it actually just kills people now. If you place it on a squishy and they don't have a mobility cooldown and their reaction speed isn't really fast, they're gonna die to it. Yeah, but I don't think he does as consistent damage as Hela. I'll put him over Black Panther even. Magic. I feel like Magic's really hard. Cloak and Dagger are separate. You're right. I don't know. Magic's really hard because I feel like if you can play her correctly, you know her animation cancels, and you path really smartly, and you dive at the right time, and you're just like a god on Magic, she can be pretty good. She can put some work in, but like the amount of effort and skill that you have to express on this character to get it done is awful. Like, there's like 5 people that can play Magic. Her ultimate got a big buff. It hit some breakpoints on 2 hits for 250 and then 3 hits for 400. So ult got a big buff. I think I'm gonna put her next to Iron Man. That sounds about right. Like, if you're really good with Magic, you're a Magic one trick, she can probably perform up here, but I think right now she might even be worse than Iron Man. I feel like most players aren't going to be getting a ton of value off of Magic. She's just really hard. And again, like, she has the same problem that BP and Iron Fist do, where you have to put your body on the line, kind of. She does have some escape tools with her portals, but they're not great. And then her dash, of course, is pretty good. But, like, they pop Cloak and Dagger ult, and then you're there with your pants down. If you've all-in'd, you're done. You're just done. Okay, here's hot take numero uno. Well, I guess it's number dos. Because Iron Man being in PP was kind of a hot take. But Mr. Fantastic, I think, is one of the most underrated characters in this game. I think people do not know how to manage his elasticity, because you can't use your cooldowns when you're in the tank form, and your tankiest form is actually when you're in like SpongeBob SquarePants mode with your shift, with your ability 1 where he goes into the square. And so you kind of have to think, how much tankiness do I need or want? Do I need to not transform now so I can use my shift? Or do I want to have my shift on the other side of the tank transformation? You want to make sure you use your grab too and pull somebody towards you in between each transformation so you're getting value out of that. I think you can SpongeBob every transformation and you can grab, but sometimes you want to save your SpongeBob form. I haven't quite figured it out yet. The character's awkward. I think the character is awkward because you can't control that transformation, and the transformation's really slow. So if I'm like in tank form and I'm like, oh, I need to be extra tanky, I can't cancel transformation and then SpongeBob in order to react to an ultimate. And so I think that's really awkward and it's really hard, but I do think he's strong. I think he does a lot of damage. He can cleave like crazy with his attacks. The amount of damage he does at the range he does with the tankiness that he has is really, really strong. And I think if he can get some more agency in his transformation, or if they make the transformation quicker, he'd actually be like A tier. I think Mr. Fantastic's pretty good. Also, his ultimate. Everybody thinks his ultimate's terrible. It's pretty bad. It's pretty bad. It is not the worst ultimate in the game, though. If you play Fantastic like a tank and view it as like a tank ultimate, like a crowd control ultimate, because it slows too, I find I get a lot more value off of it. If I'm like, I can't do all the damage with this, I know I can't really, unless it's like a 1v1. And I need my team to follow up on that. The slow is pretty impactful. The damage isn't negligible. It's lower than it could be. It could be a bit higher, but you can get kills with this. You can get like 1 or 2 kills pretty consistently with his ult if you just use it at the right time. I just feel like it's not an ult like Iron Man's where you just press it and people die. You need team follow up. You need stuff to be happening to get value out of it, but it's not as bad as everybody thinks. I've been playing a lot of Mr. Fantastic, and I've found that if I time my ult right, I actually get 1 or 2 kills pretty consistently. He's gonna be like Wolverine, I swear, where he just, I could see in the mid-season here, if somebody figures out how to manage his elasticity in a good way, he's gonna be like up here. I could see that happening because he's got such a unique kit, and he does a lot of damage and he blocks a lot of damage. Like, his numbers are really good, and mid-season we could be way different on Mr. Fox, Mr. F. Yeah, I love playing Mr. Fantastic too. He's so much fun. So much fun. Namor got a massive buff this season. I think Namor is really good. I think he's really, really good. Have you seen Mr. Fantastic backshots? I have, absolutely. Yeah, I've seen that on the Pornhub, I believe. Mr. Namor. Where should I put him? I think he's A. Do I put him over Hela? If you have the Luna team up, I think he's probably one of the best DPS in the game, if not the best. But without it, I think he's still pretty strong. His ultimate is crazy good. It's one of the best DPS ultimates in the game. The squids are so annoying. Shoot the squids, people. Shoot the squids. And since Luna is like being played almost every game that she's not banned, Namor's he's just really solid pick right now. He's gonna get work done. He just says no to a lot of characters like Spider-Man. Playing Hulk into him is miserable. Playing any sort of character that wants to go in against Namor, you just have to respect his secondary where he blows the whistle. You have to just think about him and his squids so much and just destroy the squids. It's such a chore. He does so much damage, and it's just a nightmare to dive into. Like, he's tough. Yeah, I think Namor was pretty good before buffs as well. I think Psy kind of got hurt this season pretty considerably. I had her at the top of A last season. And I think she's still really strong, but her ultimate, which is arguably one of the strongest parts of her kit, or the strongest part of her kit, got pretty nerfed. If they're playing Magneto or Hulk and they have any awareness at all, Uh, all you can do with your ultimate is really just solo kill somebody in the backline. If you try to get like 3 or 4 people, just Magneto's gonna bubble somebody, or Hulk's gonna jump in there and bubble. Hulk's gonna go in there and ult. Mr. Fantastic can use his SpongeBob mode to just soak the whole thing. Like, there's a lot of abilities can now just kind of deal with that. I feel like people have kind of learned how to play around it too a little bit better. It's still really good at getting 1 or 2 kills in the backline. It's still just really efficient, really it gets the job done, but you do need to put a little bit more thought into where you're placing it, what abilities they have, and so forth. So I think she got hurt a decent amount. Psylocke sucks because she can't cleave through the support ults. I mean, the only things that can cleave through them are Iron Man ult and Moon Knight ult, right? Is there anything else? I guess Scarlet Witch ult, but it's kind of a joke. I think that's about it. I could be wrong. Let me know if I'm wrong on that. Punisher? Yeah, so he can do some of them. He can't do it as easily as Iron Man or Moon Knight, though. I think Psylocke is still good, though. She's got high mobility. She can one-shot squishies. She can shred tanks. I mean, like, that's just a good character. I think I'll put her above Moon Knight still. I think she's still one of the stronger DPS in the games. But she did definitely get hurt by the ultimate nerf for sure. Yeah, but she does burst. She does a lot of burst. She's also a really good counter to Iron Man, and not that I think Iron Man's the best DPS in the game or whatever, but there is a lot of Iron Man being played. Because for him to do damage meaningfully, he needs to get into beam range, and she actually beats him in that range if she looks at him first. Okay, Punisher. I think Punisher's good. Not because of his buff. I don't feel like his buff really did that much. It helped him in his duels with his shotguns with squishies, I feel. But, like, I think Rocket's really strong this season. And I think Infinite Ammo's really strong. And I think Punisher can get a lot of value with that. His ultimate's good. Not being able to be stunned in your ultimate is crazy. Like you were saying, you can out-damage some support ultimates with his ultimate, especially with damage boost from Rocket. But I think Rocket is carrying the Punisher quite a bit right now, especially with the 40-second infinite ammo, which is basically, if you have Punisher and Bucky, like half an ultimate. It's so strong. It's so strong. I think Punisher's in a good spot right now. You can get a lot of value off of him, especially with the team up. Which, she got a buff. It doesn't matter. She's poo tier. Ultimate sucks. Damage, if you're playing against people who have their monitors on and can aim somewhat, you're just not going to out damage them. The stun's okay, not great. The mobility's ass, especially since they can see that red orb in the middle. Like, it just, Scarlet Witch is poo tier. If you're in like silver or below, she might be like busted, but as soon as you get beyond that, like, it's gonna be pretty hard to get value off of the character. Spider-Man, I think Spider-Man's struggling a little bit, mostly because of Namor. Like, Namor just says no to Spider-Man. He can't do anything if they have a Namor. But other than that, he's just really hard. But if you're one of the 2 people who can actually play this character, you can carry your games as long as they don't have Namor. Like, he's the type of character that if you have the skill level required, you can absolutely just carry the game solo. Like, you can have so much impact on this character, but it's so freaking hard. When you can just select Namor and say no to that, or just select Namor and get free value. Like, I don't know why you would play Spider-Man other than you're just having fun on the character. He's an insanely fun character to play. However, you're gonna be doing a lot of work to try and get W's on this guy. I haven't seen one Spider-Man do well since season 1. You had one, but he needs Venom. Yeah, Venom. Also, you need Venom. Like, he's also Venom dependent, and Venom's not great. We'll get to Venom later. He's not the most played tank for sure, so yeah, it's tough. Squirrel Girl, you know, I haven't really noticed the ultimate buff as much as I thought I would. I had one game where it just like destroyed our whole team, and I have not seen somebody die to it since. Like, I feel like when it goes off, it actually goes off now, but it's still, you can destroy it. It has 300 health, and I think people just dodge it. I think it's just too easy to dodge, and I really think that it's still not great. But like when it goes off, you do notice. Like it kills your whole team once it goes off. So yeah, you can just shoot it, right? So I think Squirrel Girl's okay. I think she does pretty good damage. The velocity of her projectiles are good. She can do range damage. She's really good in tight chokes. The stun's really good. The acorn's good. The Spider-Man team up is good. But like, I don't know. She just doesn't do consistent enough damage. Like Hella. I think I'll put her at the top here. This is hard to order. I think these three are really close for me. Let's put Iron Man at the top there. And then Squirrel Girl above Mr. Fantastic. I think that's about right. Yeah, I think there's just better options that can do more consistent damage, be lethal, more lethal, and have better cooldowns, better ultimates. She's fine, very playable. Star-Lord's crazy. I don't know, but like halfway through season 0, Star-Lord ult just started killing a ton of people. Do you guys know what happened? I think word on the street is they found like an animation cancel you can do with this character, and you can just start shooting in that ultimate that much faster. But I don't play a lot of Star-Lord, so I don't know. And I think Star-Lord started flying higher up in the air too. I greatly underrated this character season 0, and I have been getting destroyed by Star-Lord ever since. Like he's just Tracer, but with soldier range. You know, he's got a ton of mobility. He's got one of the best DPS ultimates in the game. I was wrong about that. Good team ups too with Mantis and Warlock. I think that's a pretty relevant team up. Does he have any other team ups? I think that's it. But I mean, having triple self-res on your team is crazy. His ultimate's crazy. He's got a ton of mobility. Does just consistent and good damage. Oh, they fixed that in season 1? They fixed the animation cancel? Maybe he's a little worse then. But I still think he's quite good. Storm, touch and bust right now. Touch and bust, absolutely. Probably the best character in the game right now to play is Storm. Her ult's crazy. She charges ult so fast. I thought she was strong in season 1. She got the craziest buffs I've ever seen in a patch, like ever. Like in any game ever, she got just like the craziest buffs I've ever seen in a patch. 50% projectile speed plus damage cooldown going up by like 15%, plus, you know, like all these things she just got buffs on, and I think she was quite good before. You're gonna be seeing a lot of Storm and a lot of Storm bans this season. She is just the best character in the game right now. She is crazy. Widowmaker. I think people are sleeping on Widow a little bit. She got a lot of range added to her her kick, which is her self-peel tool. She got a huge buff to her sprint meter. 12 seconds to 4 seconds to fill that thing up is crazy. So you just gotta hit your shots. There is still a lot of dive in this game, so she's not the best DPS. She's actually one of the worst still, but like, I think she's pretty playable. Her ultimate's much better now too. It's got a faster charge time. I think Widow's like okay. I think if you damage boost with Mantis, do you one-shot? You never see Widow? I don't either, but like I'm not saying she's the strongest, but I don't think she's poo tier. I think she's very playable. I hate Widow and Hawkeye. Why play them if there's so much other characters that are cool? I agree with that. I'm not the biggest fan of playing them myself, but sometimes I like to sometimes I like to just hit heads, you know? Sometimes I like to just see the thing go bink, dink, and like their health pool to go like, you know? There's a satisfaction in that when I don't want to use my brain. Bucky, I think Bucky Bucky got crazy buffs, and he's already really good. I think he is the second strongest DPS in the game. Also, Rocket got buffed. Punisher got buffed. I have lost a lot of games to Rocket, Bucky, Punisher lately. Like, that combo is really, really strong right now, and people are just sleeping on, I think, Punisher and Rocket especially, but Bucky's just like, on top of that, he got crazy crazy buffs as well. He's just super survivable. Like, he's so tanky for a DPS, and I think he does more damage in his effective range now. So, like, Bucky's crazy. I thought he was pretty good before, and he got so many W's this last patch. Wolverine, hot take. I think Wolverine is piss tier. Okay, here's the thing that happened with Wolverine. We didn't read the notes. We didn't, in season 0, we didn't read the notes, and we didn't realize that this guy actually just shreds tanks. Like, actually just shreds tanks. And so nobody respected Wolverine. Everybody thought it was a troll pick. And then all of us tanks, we'd blow our cooldowns and blow our load. And then we'd get tackled by a Wolverine. And then we'd get sent to the spawn room. And then everybody put Wolverine's the #1 fucking hero in the game. And like, then like within a week, the smart tank players learned, oh, I just need to hold my cooldowns and respect Wolverine. I just need to position better and respect Wolverine. And I feel like he's kind of trash. His ultimate's really good. Ultimate's actually really, really good. You know, I can't put him below Widow. I think he's overrated, but not that overrated. I'm gonna put him below Spider. No, he's better than Spider-Man. He's better than Squirrel Girl. I think he's here. He's overrated, but he's not that overrated. The kidnap is strong, but like you can play around it, and also like Invisible Woman just nerfs this character. Just completely soaks this character. Her shield just blocks him from doing his thing, the one thing that he does, the kidnap. Her boop just takes him off of a target, just really ruins Wolverine completely. And even without that, I think you can switch to a 1-3-2 comp and be fine, or you can play tanks like Hulk, who has many answers to Wolverine, or even Magneto can kind of deal with him a little bit with his bubble. Like, just save your cooldowns, play with your team, respect him. He's not going to do that much. The kidnap is all he does. Can we get a ban on Dark Toaster for putting a penis in my chat? My God. Wolverine made playing Groot so difficult. Yeah, Groot, I think, gets kind of... doesn't have much counterplay to it other than the walls. If he just hugs a wall, but then they destroy the wall and then you get kidnapped. Like, he is good against certain tanks. Like, he's good against Strange, he's good against Groot, he's good against Mag. But, like, I think most tanks can play around him. And I think, why not just play Hela? Why not just play Psylocke? Why not just play Bucky, who can shred tanks just as quickly as Wolverine can, pretty much, and also dual DPS, and also just be an oppressive threat for the whole enemy team? Like, why would you play Wolverine? His ultimate's really good, though. His ultimate's so cool with the scoop and poop. It's like pretty gnarly. I love Wolverine ult. It's so cool. I love Wolverine. He's such a fun character. Nothing wrong with playing Wolverine. If you're playing Wolverine, you're playing the game like a true man. I don't care what everybody else in the community says about Wolverine mains. I love Wolverine mains. I love tossing around Wolverines too as Hulk, and like actually like getting the tackle because of my throw or whatever. It feels so cool. Okay. Once you learn there's a delay with his ults, it's easy to counter when he throws you up. Is it? I don't think so. I think he scoops you and then he poops you. I could be wrong on that though. I've been wrong once. It was when I thought I was wrong, but I was actually right. Adam Warlock. Adam Warlock is good. I think in triple support meta he works. He doesn't do a ton of healing on his own. Soul Bond is an incredibly powerful cooldown. His ultimate just kind of sucks. Yeah, I just feel like he's getting outperformed by other supports by quite a bit, but he's still very playable. He's still a support. He does a lot of damage. His ultimate just doesn't measure up to other support ultimates, and his healing's not that great, but Soul Bond is really, really strong and his damage is really good. So you can play him. I like him in triple support. I like him with like a Luna or a Mantis where you have, or a Luna specifically, who can output a ton of healing, or Cloak and Dagger who can output a ton of healing, where you don't really need more healing, so you can kind of get away with playing him. Like Cloak and Dagger can actually kind of solo heal a team right now. Speaking of C&D, hot take. I think Cloak and Dagger is overrated. I think Cloak and Dagger feels really good to play. I think Cloak and Dagger feels really good to play with. I feel like Cloak and Dagger feels horrible to play against. But I think that has inflated her perceived value by quite a bit. I think that Cloak and Dagger doesn't have anything in her kit, or in their kit, that really wins the game. Have you guys noticed, like, Cloak and Dagger ult happens, and then you just wait for 20 seconds, or however long that ult is, and then you just win the fight? How often does that happen? You should start counting when that happens, because that ultimate doesn't win you the fight. It's extremely good, okay? I'm not saying it's bad. It's just immortality. Immortality is really strong. It trades really well in the ult trade. If you can trade this for 2 ultimates and or win the fight, it's super good. But if you just use it to survive on point for like 15 extra seconds and then die, you've just fed like 3 ultimates worth of ult charge to them. If you don't win the fight, if you don't get trades, if you don't win the ultimate trade, you have just fed so much ultimate charge, and your ultimate really didn't do anything to win the fight. The enemy team just kind of has to back off and respect that your team has immortality in this limited area. And then if they do that, they save their ultimates a little bit, and then they win the fight, you've just given them like 3 ultimates. Like, it's really strong. It's really, really strong. And it's really frustrating to play against. And her healing is crazy. The fade is crazy. Her ult charge is crazy. I'm not saying her ultimate's bad. I'm just saying it's not as good as people think it is. Her ult is really strong. I'm not saying immortality is super strong. It is super efficient in the ult trade. Super efficient in the ult trade. But you need to make sure that you're getting the value out of that ultimate. I think it feels better to play, and I think it feels worse to play against than it actually is. Because I think it can make you feel like, oh, I just extended this fight for another 30 seconds, which is, you know, somewhat powerful, but in reality, you just gave them enough ults to just steamroll you through the rest of the map. I'm not saying she's bad. I don't think she's touch and bust. I don't think she's the sex. I'll put her over Hawkeye. You know what? I'm going to move Hawkeye to the top of PP. I think she's better than Black Panther, but I think that's where she ends up, is around the lower A tier for me. As an engagement ult, I don't think it works as an engagement ult. I think she's just so reactive and doesn't really have anything she can do proactively to win the game. Like, yeah, it gives you an area which is really favorable for you to fight in, but it doesn't win you the fight. You need something else to win you the fight. Invisible Woman. I think Invisible Woman is really, really good. Unlike Cloak and Dagger, she has a lot of things that she can use proactively or to either enable somebody or just disrupt somebody. So she has like the boop and the pull, which is really, really, really strong. It just messes up Wolverine. It messes up Hulk. It messes up everybody. The boop pull is so strong. Cannot be understated. The ultimate is really good. She does decent damage. What else does she have in her kit? The damage orb is like pretty underwhelming, actually. But like the slows with all of her abilities and in her ultimate and in her past her shields they do that does a lot over the course of a game. Like the slows are so annoying. The boop and the pull is so annoying. The shields are so good at like enabling like an Iron Man ult or even like a Wolverine going in or something. You just throw that on somebody aggressive and they're gonna get value out of it. And then unlike Cloak and Dagger ultimate, I think her ultimate is actually better. And I know that's crazy because this one feels way better and this one feels way worse. But I think end up feeding a lot less because you're invisible. You end up feeding a lot less because the enemy just cannot go into that invisibility field without dying. Like, they will almost certainly die if they try to engage your team in there. And then also you're all invisible, so it's harder for the enemy team to trade with you in there, so they can't just farm you and back off. Like, they either have to go in and die, or they just have to back off and hit like things by luck. I think Invisible Woman's actually better than Cloak and Dagger. I'm gonna put her here. They gotta nerf some of these support ults. I'm sick of everyone not dying every fight. Yeah, just for the feeling of the game, I feel like they just need to. I think the best thing they could do is keep them really potent like they are, but just like increase the cost by a significant amount. Because like this charging in 40 seconds feels terrible. Yeah, the rate at which they're coming out is just insane. Jeff's bad. Jeff's so bad. Jeff's got giga nerfed on his ultimate. I feel like I haven't seen somebody die to Jeff ultimate since season 0. I think he might just be the worst character in the game. He's just so bad. Nothing else to say about that. If you pick Jeff, you're trolling. I don't know what to say. He just doesn't do anything. All he does is heal and look like a cutie and then run away and then get pooped on. Jeff is a cutie though. We all agree. Jeff is a cutie. Loki, I greatly underrated Loki last season. I think Loki's quite strong. He does a lot of damage. His clones, you have to destroy his clones. More clones equals more rocks, equals more teleports, equals more damage, equals more healing. You just have to destroy the clones. And it's such a chore to do so because it gets one like every 6 seconds or whatever. The rocks are so freaking good. Probably one of the best support cooldowns in the game. Probably, is it better than Cloak Fade? It might be. It might be better than Cloak Fade. But yeah, I think Loki, his clone ultimate is so strong, you can just choose whatever you want. If you need to break through a support ult, you choose Iron Man. If you need a defensive ult, you use Luna or whatever. Like, double Luna ult is disgusting. When you get 30 seconds of just the enemy team not being able to play the game, it's actually so gross. And I've lost double Luna ult a frustrating amount of the time. It's stupid. The flexibility with his ultimate is really, really strong. You get whatever ult you need in that moment. The rocks are great, and then he just puts out numbers. I think I'll put him. No, the pull's really strong. The boot pull is really strong on Inviswoman, but I think he's up there, guys. I think Loki is. I'm not underrating him again. I've seen his impact, and it is quite high. Luna Mantis. Unlike Cloak and Dagger, I feel like you can use. They have more proactivity in their kit. They can do damage. They have stuns. I'm just talking about Luna for right now. It'd be easier to talk about them one at a time. She has a stun. She has damage. Her ultimate can actually just win you the fight. Like, there's the other boost other than just immortality, right? That you can switch to. Usually you just use it for the immortality, and then you have this kind of damage boost on top of it. But Luna's crazy. Luna is actually crazy. She just does it all, and that hasn't changed. She avoided nerfs, really. I mean, the 0.5 second to switch in between modes is a nerf, but I mean, 12-second ultimate keeps everybody up and does other things, and she just has crazy coverage. And the team up with Namor too. Team up with Namor. Luna's crazy. She's still crazy. Yeah. Mantis has better damage for sure. Mantis's sleep is insane. Again, that's another stun. Mantis's ult is also immortality. It's a little bit easier to cleave through. You can stun her. It's not quite as solid as Luna's, but it's still very strong, and I think it's a better enabling tool as it gives you like overshields and speed and a bunch of nice things. So I think Mantis is quite good. I think they're about the same for me. All right, Rocket. People are sleeping on Rocket like crazy. I think Rocket's insane. I think Rocket is insane. I think Rocket got a buff on his second ultimate ability, infinite ammo, and Bucky got buffed, and Punisher got buffed. His healing got buffed, which means he's charging his real ultimate faster, which I think is way underrated. People are like, oh, you don't have 2 defensive ultimates. It doesn't matter when you just pop this thing in 30 seconds. It charges like crazy fast, and then you just punish your ultimate on top of that. Like, it's just insane. I think Rocket is the best healer in the game right now. I think he is that good. Damage boost, unlike these immortality ults, feeds your team ult charge too. So it wins you fights. It absolutely wins you fights. People don't notice it, but it wins you fights. As a tank player, I hear this ultimate go off and the fight's over. I know how much damage I'm receiving, and I have to get out right the fuck now, or I am dead. It charges your team's ults, doesn't charge their ults. It actually takes away a ton of ult charge because you're just gonna loot their tank. And it charges super fast. Like, people are sleeping on Rocket like crazy. He's super survivable. He just pumps out a ton of healing with the buff. He's got a res. Yeah, he's got the res. And unlike Warlock's res, it's just something that's happening in the background too. So it's like even better, right? The armor's actually really good. Armor on a character like Spider-Man just is gonna win him an engagement most of the time, right? Like, if he goes in with the armor, he's gonna win that engagement if he takes a 1v1, right? So I think Rocket's crazy. I think he's one of the best characters in the game. I think people will agree with me over time. I know I'm insane for putting him above Luna Snow. I know I'm insane for putting Cloak and Dagger in the bottom of A tier, but I was right about Hulk. Just remember, I was right about Hulk. I was right about a lot of things. Season 0 tier list. So I don't care what the YouTube comments say. Call me crazy. Whatever. I'm 100% objectively correct all the time. This is just, it's a known fact. I don't know what armor does. It just gives you extra bonus health. It's not like crazy. It's just like an added thing in his kit. Captain is only good if you have a good Thor to hold the front line. I don't think so. I don't think you necessarily need the team up. The team up's really strong and definitely helps you do better on Cap, but sometimes I'd rather just have a better tank than Thor and not have that cooldown. So the thing about Cap is you can't just dive in main, slam down, and start like just frontlining, and you can't even really hard engage on the back line. He's very weird. He's got a ton of mobility and doesn't really do a ton of damage all at once, but he can just kind of like survive in the backline for so long without any help, just picking up packs, blocking cooldowns, tossing in shields. He can just be this like crazy nuisance in your backline, and he can get a lot of value off the game. He's kind of like Wrecking Ball in that play style kind of way, where he's like, I'm not gonna really kill anybody, but I'm gonna take their attention, and as soon as they disrespect me and don't give me that attention, I'm hard engaging and they're dead. Right? Like, I think that's what Cap is so good at. He got a lot of buffs this season. I thought he was kind of okay last season. I think he's pretty good this season. I think he's pretty good. His ultimate's also crazy. Obamacare is actually really good. Yeah, I mean, you just have another support ult. Pretty good. And it gives you bonus health too, and speed and all sorts of things. It's really nice. I think you just have to be really smart and really discerning about when you hard commit with Captain America.
Did you just call Captain America Ult Obamacare?
Yeah, it's Obamacare. Yeah, Cap's good. I think Cap's not the best tank in the game, but he's got a lot going on for him this season. I think also the team up with Storm, like, it might be worth playing Thor for Storm more than Cap, but then you can play Cap on top of that, and then you do have the shields, and that's pretty nice. Groot, I think Groot is kind of doo-doo. I think Groot keeps falling for me. Destroy the walls. Please destroy the walls. If you don't destroy the walls, he's actually touch and bust. Like, his walls do so much, and they're a chore to clean up. I think he's overrated. He's not that overrated, though. I'll put him, like, near Wolverine. Oh, you know what? His ultimate's really good, especially this season. I just think he's a little overrated. I'll put him near Iron Man, because his ultimate good. He's map dependent, and he can be really strong, especially if you don't break the walls. But I think there's much better options than Groot. Groot a lot of times griefs his own teammates with the damn walls. That's true. Oh my god. As a Hulk player, even with good Groots, I get griefed by Groot all the time. I could be wrong on this, guys. I know Groot ult plus like Moon Knight ult is crazy right now. I know his ultimate's really, really good. His walls are a painful chore to do. It's not like Penny Nest where it's almost free to destroy it in a lot of situations. And then you just have to break it once and then you run over Penny. You like just have to keep breaking the walls. Like kind of like Loki clones. You just have to keep on top of that. So it is like a painful chore to do. And if you don't do it, he's gonna smack your booty cheeks. So, and he's got a good ultimate. He's not bad. He's very playable. Extremely good on some maps. And really good with Moon Knight. It could be a Moon Knight Groot meta. I could be wrong on this. I don't know. I don't think so though. I think Storm and Rocket, Bucky, Punisher is looking a lot better. If Moon Knight's meta, then Groot's gonna get some play. Hulk's crazy, guys. Hulk's insane. The more I play Hulk, the more I'm like, this character is just, he just does it all. You know what? I think I'm putting him in the touch and bust. I think I've grown in my opinion of Hulk. Even though he got the nerf, I just feel like I can do it all. I just feel like I can carry the game in every single way. I can play any single matchup with my kit if I'm creative enough. His mobility is insane. His ultimate is one of the best tank ultimates in the game. He trades cooldowns for ults pretty easily. And he just punches you down in the face. He's got some of the best team ups in the game. With Strange specifically, Iron Man and Wolverine. Like, he's just so good. He's just so good. You know what? I'm putting him up here. You can call me crazy. I think Hulk is probably the best, one of the best tanks in the game. The other one's Strange, and Strange is slightly better. However, still think Strange is slightly better. The portal is just too good, guys. The portal is just too good. Even after the nerfs, he's still plenty strong. Mag's good. Mag's really good. Mr. Reliable. Ultimate's really good. The shield's really good. Yeah, I think right there it sounds good. The bubbles are really strong. The bubbles now counter Psylocke, which is good. Yeah, he got a buff to his team up with Witch. I don't know if that matters that much. He's just Mr. Reliable. He's just gonna get value throughout the course of the game. He's easy to play. He's easy to get value out of. Penny, poo tier. I don't care what anybody says. Penny is still garbage. Penny is still garbage. Just break the nest, please. Just break the nest. Thor, I think Thor is garbage. Even though he enables Storm and Cap, you do not need to play Thor for Storm to be the best character in the game. You do not need to play Thor to play Captain America. He's got good team ups. He's got the Hela team up as well. I don't know. I think I'm going to put him here. I think I'm going to put him right underneath Magic. I think he is garbage, though. Like, the only thing putting him here is because he's got good team ups. That's the only thing putting him up here. He just doesn't have mitigation. He doesn't have mobility. He does damage, but he has to get into their face. And then once he gets into their face, he charges up a damage that's ranged. Like, his kit just doesn't make sense. He just doesn't have the mitigation tools necessary. He doesn't have the mobility necessary. And his damage and his ultimate are honestly underwhelming for the amount of stuff that he's lacking. Like, Thor just doesn't cut it, guys. Thor is kind of poo. Like, honestly, I'd put him here with Iron Fist if it wasn't that he had two really good team-ups. Get some nasty work done on Thor and Venom. I mean, I don't know. I can play Thor and have a good time, but I'm always thinking to myself, wow, there's just other tanks that can do this way better. I think Thor's overrated. I think Thor is not good, guys. Venom got a crazy buff for his shields. Venom still really just doesn't do what Hulk does, though. I'm gonna put him under, I think he's a good, like, support dive tank. Like, he can get in there and support, like, a Spider-Man dive, which is really nice. He's a good tank to run alongside Hulk and do, like, a triple dive with Spider-Man. Like, he's got his place. He gets his value. But I just feel like his kit isn't dynamic enough, doesn't handle enough problems to really justify taking him over Hulk. Like, I would never, if I'm just choosing the best character, I would never play Venom over Hulk. Ever. Like, they're miles apart. Miles apart. I mean, yeah, he has a lot of survivability. He makes a lot of space. But Hulk does that, and he's got a bubble. And he's got a stun. And he's got an ultimate that actually does something. So I don't know. I just think he's so much worse. I can't put him. I'm gonna put him at the top of B, actually. That's such an ugly distribution of tier list. With like 2 rows here. I hate this. I hate how this looks, but this is how it is. Ain't no way you said Hulk's ult is better? Are you kidding me, Wolf and G? Better than Venom's? Venom's ult is garbage. Hulk's ult is probably the best tank ult in the game. Hulk's ult is probably the best tank ult in the game. It might be just one of the best ultimates in the entire game. Venom's ult is one of the worst ultimates in the game. It gives you health, so you can feed more ult charge to the enemy team. Yeah, I get that, but that's all he does. With Hulk, I can just kill them. The size of your ego is directly proportional to the lack of the size in your pants. Yeah, I got a small wiener. Okay. You know, it's season 1. You can have whatever opinions you guys want to. I like arguing about this stuff. I like calling you guys crazy. I like it when you guys call me crazy. It's funny to me, so I'm not upset. This is all fun for me.